here is Jonathan Kuminga finishing a windmill, and he cannot stop dunking for the Atlanta Hawks and immediately becomes a fan favorite of the city, as Hawks fans were actually chanting "Thank you Warriors" for Jonathan Kuminga. And who would have thought him actually getting out of Golden State has made him play much better. 27-7, 4 assists, 2 steals, 17-9, 3 assists, 1 steal, 27-3, and 2 for Kuminga in his last 3 games. Over that stretch, Kuminga's averaging 21.3 points per game, 7.7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals plus a block on 67% from the field and 55% from 3. And the situation with Kuminga in Golden State was just so weird. You would think the franchise would have a lot more stock in him than they actually ended up having. The owner really liked Kuminga, but I'm just happy to see him in another situation. I didn't necessarily love the actual trade to the Atlanta Hawks. I thought teams like maybe the Detroit Pistons or a rebuilding situation like the Brooklyn Nets would be better for Kuminga, but it seems like he's thriving behind Jalen Johnson. So we will have to see, but it seems like Atlanta got a guy that could probably be in the rotation for a little while.
Look, this is probably going to irritate a lot of other Warrior fans. And to be honest, I get it. It's time to move on. He's not here anymore, leaving in the past. But I'm going to follow Jonathan Kuminga and his career in Atlanta. And it's not because I'm some JK stan that's going to sit here and tell you, I told you so, about him being in Golden State and how they should keep him. Or I extremely dislike Jonathan Kuminga and how he should have left a long time ago. It's really just because I just didn't think he was ever going to flourish here. And he was never going to find his footing with this team and this organization. And they probably should have moved off him a long time ago. Not because I don't think he's good. It's just it wasn't a good fit here. Now, do I think at times they could have found minutes for him instead of giving him DMPs? Yes. But I think getting him to Atlanta was the best option for him. And tonight in his debut, drops 27 points, has 7 rebounds, had a couple of steals there as well, a couple assists in there too. Great debut from him. And I hope it continues. I hope he's able to reach his potential in Atlanta moving forward. There's going to be a lot of people on social media tonight saying either I told you so after one game, or a lot of people saying it's only one game. I don't think this is going to last. When all it really needs to be is glad to see him have success. Hope it continues. It just didn't work out here.
All right, apparently Jonathan Kuminga is hooping out here. I think he was injured and now he's made his debut with the Hawks. And people looking at Steve Kerr a lot different. And, a lot of people stood on that hill for Mark Jackson. And like I said, a lot of times just you got late reactions or delayed reactions, they call them in boxing. I think people starting to see through the number of guys that the Golden State Warriors have had. Steve Kerr just took, Mark Jackson built the Golden State Warriors house, a beautiful mansion, a beautiful palace, and Steve Kerr just stole it from him, and he put his name on it. But Mark Jackson, he developed these guys. Let me say this. Had Steve Kerr been here from the beginning, the Warriors never would have been the Warriors. Real talk. He wouldn't have been able to develop Steph. He wouldn't have been able to develop Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. That wouldn't happen. At least not all 3 of them. And right now, you're seeing that Steve Kerr is just not a good developer of talent. You know what I'm saying? He can't develop young talent. And, Mark Jackson developed this team, and they got him out of there. Now, allegedly, it was said that Andrew Bogut got tired of him pushing his religion on him. But let me slow down for a minute. But then again, the Atlanta Hawks is doing Magic City Monday, right? Is doing Magic City Monday. And ain't nobody batting an eye but that Luke Cornett dude from the San Antonio Spurs. See, this is what I'm really much thinking about it. Where do they draw the line at? See, you can't say the B word, the F word on TV or they want to censor masculinity on the internet and on TV. They want to push a masculinity. They want to talk about we sexualize women, but we got the NBA celebrating the sexualization of the strip club Magic City at a Hawks game. And then it's a lot of people from the culture, from the black community, who don't have an issue with it. And I'm just looking like I'm flabbergasted. You can shake some ass or you can pay tribute to a strip club at a family event, but you can't commit a common foul without getting thrown out the game. And they, saying it's a flagrant 2. Where are we at in society? The lines are always murky in society. If you call a little boy him and he want to go as her, you can lose your job. Well, you can celebrate a strip club at an NBA family event. You know, I agree with Luke Cornett. I might do a video speaking on that. You know, I might just double dip in this. I don't know. I'm gonna give it its own video, right? But looking at Kuminga, he balling. He look happy again. And Steve Kerr was trying to put him in a role that he didn't want to accept. And sometimes, you believe in yourself, you bet on yourself. And Steve Kerr wanted him to probably be a 3-and-D type of guy. He knew he wanted to do. And it's not like you crazy. It's not like Steve Kerr has took guys and put them in their roles and they've been successful. Moses Moody is not playing. That's because they injured. And Moses Moody is a good shooter out of Arkansas. Didn't develop him. You know what I'm saying? James Wiseman didn't develop him. That redhead, Brandon Punzinski, he tried to start him. Still ain't developed him. It's a number of guys that he's failed to develop to be successful in the National Basketball Association with the Golden State Warriors. No, these are the same people who took James Wiseman over LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards. And you heard allegedly on KD's burner account what he said about he thinks Steve Kerr is a little bit racist. Says Michael Jordan smacked him. Smacked him. So it don't surprise me none, bro. Without Mark Jackson, they wouldn't be who they are. In my opinion, the Warriors never would have been the Warriors without Mark Jackson. Because Steve Kerr can't develop people. When it comes to developing players, it's patience. I just think at the end of the day, he's a figurehead. He's a figurehead for what they do. I think him bringing some of that, triangle and some of the Spurs offense there where they move the ball and they flex and they do some things like that. Shout out to him. He got two of the best off ball, catch and shoot guards in the league ever to do it, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. And at the end of the day, instead of seeing what he had with Jonathan Kuminga and, letting Kuminga do what Kuminga do, and then filling in the holes with Kuminga as far as defense and rebounding and filling the holes in Kuminga. Yeah, he should have let him do what he do. So many opportunities throughout the years. You DNP. Bro, you can't afford to DNP. He's one of the more talented players on the team. That's a fact. He's one of the more talented players on the team. You want Steph to go out of Warrior, they should have been building around that guy. Now he going to Atlanta. He happy. He running. He dunking. He hustling. He rebounding. He's allowed to play free. And you should have gave him that opportunity. You should have gave him that opportunity long ago. Well, no reason not to. And now in Atlanta, he found his joy. Athletic, defender. They got a good team. If Atlanta could find a floor general at point guard, it'd be a wrap. Which ain't a lot of them guys walking around here that really can, run the point guard. Like all these dudes is really twos playing the one. The only real point guard left is like Cade Cunningham, LeBron still out there. I might be missing Halliburton, he injured, but ain't too many real PGs out there left. And that, you look at teams like Atlanta and Orlando. When you talking about Atlanta, Orlando, what's the difference between them and Detroit? It's a few things, but the number one difference is they got a true point guard in Detroit with the Pistons with Cade. He a true point guard. He forced to score, but realistically, he don't really want to score like that. He makes everybody better. He's willing to give up the ball. He's willing to play off the ball. His team, he distribute the ball. He make the right play. And that's the difference between Atlanta and Orlando. If Atlanta and Orlando had at least a Rajon Rondo, or they had a Magic Johnson, or they had a John Stockton, or one of those true pure point guards, I think shit, they'd be right there up there with Detroit. I'm a Piston fan. They'd be right up there with us. That's what they missing. They're missing floor generals. What the Knicks missing? If the Knicks were smart, they would go out there and find a point guard and take Brunson off the ball a little bit, But Brunson and Luka and Luka, They ain't gonna never win playing the Brandon, but Donovan Mitchell's another one. They ain't gonna never win pounding the ball 80%, 90% in your hand all day. Your body gonna break down. That's why when they get in the playoffs, they start getting injured, hands start hurting, ass start hurting, they start getting fatigued, too much usage throughout the year. That's one of the biggest diseases in the NBA. It's their lack of ability to play without the basketball. If they learn to play without the basketball, they will see how much easier basketball would be. They like to go 1-on-5. And like I said, today's NBA is trash. They shoot threes and they go 1-on-5. You know what I'm saying? And imagine if they can learn how to play off the ball, catch and shoot, cut. You know what I'm saying? But they don't know how to play like that no more. But you know, it is what it is. Shout out to Kuminga. Peace. Hit the link in the description. Say find me everywhere. The Linktree X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, the whole nine. Check out the NBA Talk playlist. Peace.
A statement game, maybe to your old team or even to the fans of Atlanta?
No, I wouldn't say statement. You know, everybody always going to have their own opinions and minds. I don't really pay attention to whatever anybody say. At the end of the day, we're trying to win as many games as we can here, and the window is very small for us to stack it up all these wins, you know, as many as we can. However, we're gonna get them. I think that's my main focus. That's been everybody else's main focus on this team. And we always talk about it, how we got to figure it out to play collectively and get these wins. As you know, I think that's all that matters. It don't matter if I go out and to shoot 2 shots and have 2 points, as long as somehow it's impacting for us to win. That's all that really matters.